Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 29th March 2017. The first article, Wither Human Rights in Sri Lanka. You all know that it is the 8th year after the end of the civil war in Sri Lanka. In spite of this, no real progress happened on the ground on war excesses. No accountability is fixed. So, what can be the reason for this? Now, the government of Sri Lanka, the new government that came to power, National Unity Government, it has promised reconciliation, constitutional reforms, accountability and justice for the war crimes. And UN Human Rights Commission's report by Ms. Navi Pillai has also clearly stated, clearly accused the government excesses, military excesses during the civil war. So, the progress is very tardy on all these fronts in Sri Lanka. And second is, there is an excessive involvement of international organizations on Sri Lankan matters. Because of this, the democratic space in Sri Lanka itself is not developing. So, a top to bottom approach of imposition of thoughts is coming up. Government, local organizations, everyone are looking towards UN Human Rights Commission and which don't have the time for Sri Lanka as expected. So, anything, any action, it has to be developed within the country among the citizens. If you clearly observe the problem in Sri Lanka, it is the state itself. So there is a transformation from parliamentary to presidential system. So it means there is a centralization of power that has happened in Sri Lanka, and then majoritarianism got developed. Militarism, authoritative militarism also has been seen. So all these three together has caused huge loss of life during the civil war. So any response to the state authoritarianism, it has to come from the people. So if the people in civil society, they directly challenge the state and its authoritative tendencies, there will be a transformation. So if Sri Lanka has to find a bright future, the space, the democratic space shall be occupied by the citizens of the country. That's what is this article is all about. And police overhaul in UP. What are the cardinal principles of police reforms in the country? The first thing is, police force is desensitized, or else I can say it as there is no sensitivity towards the victim and there are human rights violations. Understand this point. Police violence is not a solution or answer to the anti-social elements violence, because police are bound to function within the confines of rule of law. And if some terrorist or anti-social element has violated the law, the police cannot take it as a reason to violate the same. So, again, Dalits and marginalized sections, they shall be given protection by the police forces. So, the sensitivity towards their needs and also concern to the human rights, these are critical for a professional police service. These are missing across all the states in India and they are particularly seen in the case of UP. So a behavioral training and then human rights orientation, these are critical for changing the police force. In this context, the second ARC has given another point. So if a police station is located where Dalits, minorities, these are high in the population. So the police station and its composition by human resources also has to reflect the social groupings over there. Simply to be stated, a police station under its the people are from minorities. Many of the people in the police force also shall consist of minorities. So in that way, whenever riot happens, the police can swiftly react to the same. So again, raising the percentage of women among the police force. All these are being discussed by second ARC. And operational autonomy. So, politicization of the police force is demoralizing. So, operational autonomy is sine qua non with efficient and fair policing. So, most of the cases, civil and criminal cases, so they can be separated from each other and criminal investigation can be given away for the others. So, and third is, the police people ratio, it is very less across the country and worse in the case of UP. So this has to be raised. And finally, the caste role has to be decreased. Our caste affiliations has to be decreased in the functioning of the police. It specifically applies in the case of UP, Bihar. So this caste elimination will can bring in better professionalism in their functioning. And coming to Aadhaar, you all know that Supreme Court of India has recently said the government cannot insist for Aadhaar for delivering the welfare benefits. So it is not a judicial order. It is not binding on the government as of now. But it is going to give a direction to the government how the Supreme Court is thinking on this matter. So already I have discussed it to you in the class that if Aadhaar is violative of certain rights of the citizens, let us think. And most of the people who gets benefited from welfare programs of the government are the poor. So for being poor, you are making them Aadhaar mandatory and then their rights are getting violated. It means that the rights are not meant to be exchanged for the economic benefits. Remember this point. Rights are not meant for economic exchange. But however, for the non-welfare benefits, non-welfare actions of the government, but for filing the income tax returns and then getting a SIM card and added to that, providing for a bank account, it is being made mandatory and Supreme Court has no objections for the same. But however, Supreme Court is going to review that very soon from the perspective of right to privacy. As government is integrating different sets of data linked to Aadhaar, the information can be used for this surveillance purposes. So this surveillance is going to violate the right to privacy. So in this case, what is the status of the right to privacy? It is not yet clear in the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court, the matter is pending before the Supreme Court as of now. Now let's come to the Manohar Parrikar article. It is about the Goan politics, but however, we are not interested in that. So, if coalition government is formed, what are the challenges to governance? So, a government shall have sufficient strength to act decisive, and then the governance of a state will get fractured if there is a fractured mandate. Manipulative politics, bargaining will take over rather than clear decisive action by the government. So that's why Manohar Parrikar says that people have to give the clear mandate to a particular any political party, either it is in Congress or BJP. So the governance will help the people in the long run. Now let's come to the Trump to gut Obama climate policy. Now Obama has brought in clean power plan in the United States. So this clean power plan, with this he has gone to the Paris Climate Pact and finally signed the Paris Climate Pact. So Trump, through an executive order, he wants to reverse this. And he is also allowing for the thermal power plants. According to Obama, the thermal power plants and coal mining has to be closed. In the place of that, the country has to move towards the renewable energy sources like solar. But however, Trump is looking at the other way around. As Obama's policy have led to unemployment, he want to revive those industries in the United States of America. But this is not a good news for the climate change, fight against the climate change. Now, center may expand social security net. So, Employment Provident Fund organization, it is planning to provide the social security net to Anganwadi workers and people who cook the midday meal and also ASHA workers. So these are the healthcare and nutritional workers at the grassroots level, and they do not enjoy any social security benefits. So Employment Provident Fund organization, if it extends social benefits to them, that's a positive step. And then there are no much news today actually. I have prepared the notes to you. Please go through that. These notes will be posted to you at laix.in civils prep. But today is a holiday for the institute. So tomorrow it might be posted for you. And by the way, happy Yugadi for everyone. And thank you very much. And your beautiful comments are a moral booster for us. And I really love those comments. And I'll definitely make improvements if you have any problems. But don't ask me to change my diction and pronunciation, because for the last 35 years, this is what I'm using for. And then thank you very much and all the best. And I'll also complete the second ARC report soon before your prelims. Thank you very much. All the best.